For today's video, we are going to tackle about the step-by-step procedure on how to install OS and software application. Steps in installing operating system. Installing operating system Windows 7. So let's get started. To start Windows 7 from an installation desk or USB flash drive, first turn on your computer. Insert the Windows 7 installation CD-ROM or DVD-ROM drive and then restart your computer. Second, the computer will boot from the CD-ROM automatically as the BIOS setup, or the message of press any key to boot from CD or DVD will appear. So press any key when prompted to do, and then follow any instructions that appear. Next step is to set up is loading the driver files. It needs to continue with installation. See the attached photo. Another step is the first options you will come across are selections for language, time, and currency format, and keyboard layout. Make your selections by using the pull-down menus and press the next button. You can see the photos attached. Another step, when the Install Windows page appears, click Install Now to begin the installation process. You may see the attached photo in the next slide. Another step, Windows 7 is working in the background. This may take several minutes depending on the system. See photos in the next slide. So we are now starting setup. Next step is here we say the license agreement you must accept before continuing. After reading the agreement, check the box next to the I accept the license terms and select Next button. Next step is select which kind of installation does you want. For here, we will select Custom Advanced. So see the photo attached in the next slide. Another step is the next screen will ask you where you want to install the system, meaning on what partition. So at that point, you need to decide one of the two options. First, install Windows on the entire available disk space. Second, create a partition on the hard disk and install Windows on that partition. If you pick option 1, then you simply click Next and get done with it. The setup program will create a partition on the entire hard disk and format it with the NTFS file system. It will then install Windows on that partition. So you can see the photos. And however, we will host option 2 because we want to create the partition exactly as we want it. Click on Drive Options Advanced. The screen will change and show you these buttons. New, to create a new partition. Delete, to delete a specific partition. All data on that partition will be deleted. Format, to format a specific partition. All data on that partition will be deleted. Extend, to extend a partition of the limitation of physical disk and to span the partition on more than one physical disk. So you can see the attached photo. Another is to create a new partition. Click New in the size box, enter the size for the new partition. When done, click Apply. Note that the size of the partition should be in MB. For example, if you want a partition of 24 gig, you will multiply it by 1024, then write that number in the size box. It looks like this. So the setup program will let you know that it will create an additional partition on that drive. That partition will be by default hidden and contain the essential files to boot the computer. This partition will consume 100 MB of disk space. Note that even if you do not manually create the partition by using this procedure, Windows will still create this partition. However, since you did manually create the partition, Windows will tell you that another partition will also be created. So now, you can see the partition that you have created and the hidden boot partition. In most cases, the partition on which Windows will be installed is partition number 2. But you can also choose where you do want to install OS by selecting that partition. Press Format to format the new partition. So it looks like these pictures. Warning window will appear telling that all data will be deleted. That should make no issue because the partition was just created and it is blank. Installation will now complete as usual. So you can see the pictures in the next slide. So another step. Here is where Windows 7 installs major components of the OS. This process can take 10 to 60 minutes depending on the system. So we can see the pictures attached in the next slide. So we are now installing Windows. Another step. Here we see the system needing to reboot to continue installation task. So for this step, we can now continue in rebooting our OS. Another step. Here we see progress as Windows 7 updates the registry settings. This process may take several minutes before going to the next screen. Note that if you got the message of press any key to boot from CD or DVD, do not press as it will boot from hard disk to continue installation. So we are now setting up and installing our Windows. Next is Windows 7 starts up required services. At this point in the setup process, so we are now setting up or starting Windows. Next step, Windows 7 continues to install at this screen. After initial setup is complete, another reboot is required with no user input. Then setup will prepare the system for initial booting. So the first is to install Windows. Next is setting up will continue after rebooting, and then we are now starting Windows. Setup is preparing your computer for first use, and now we setup is checking for the first or checking videos. Next is here is where creating the first account happens. This user will help full administrator and automatically log in after setup is completed. Enter in your username and computer name as you would like it to be identified on the network, and then select the next button. So set up Windows. Next, this screen prompts you to enter a password for the account that you just created. I highly recommend that your password your account. Enter it twice, then include a password hint to help remind you of what is your misplaced or forgot it. You of course should not enter in your actual password in this field, but a subtle reminder to jog your memory after this information is identified. So we are setting a password of your account. Next step, this is where automatic updates and problems and reports solutions are offered as an option. I recommend to most users to use recommended settings. These options can always be changed later. Make your selection to continue to the next screen. You can see the attached photo in the next slide. So the next step is to ensure that your time zone is entered correctly and make adjustments as necessary. Also, ensure the proper time is set. This information is extracted from the BIOS settings. So, if the time was set correctly in the previous installation of Windows or most any other OS, it should still be correct here. After this information is verified, select the next button. Another step is most people will want to use home network for desktop installations or public network for a portable system like a laptop. Make your selection to continue to the next screen. You can see the attached photo in the next slide. Setting up Windows. So another step is finalizing settings. This should only take a few moments to complete. Then welcome windows will appear. After that, preparing for your desktop. So we are now finalizing our Windows. Preparing for our desktop. So we are done installing OS. And next is on how to install software application like Microsoft Offices and search engines like Mozilla Firefox. So we are now installing on Windows. First step, you can go to your account's Office page or go to this link. This will open a page with your Office purchase. The second step is to click and install. It's an orange button below your subscription's name. The third step, click install again. Your Office setup file will begin downloading. So you can see pictures attached in the next slide. Another step, you can double click the Office setup file. You will find it in your computer's default download location. So it looks like this in the picture. Next step is you click yes, then prompted doing so will run the setup file and begin installing Office on your computer. So you can click yes to begin installing your Office. So next is wait for Microsoft Office to finish installing. This process may take several minutes. So another step, click close when prompted. Your Microsoft Office programs have now been installed on your computer. You're free to begin using these programs right away. So next is we are now installing on a Mac. First step is go to your account's Office page with the use of these links. This will open a page with your Office purchase. The second step, you can click install. It's an orange button below your subscription's name. The third step, click install again. Your Office setup file will begin downloading. So we are now downloading our file. Another step, open Finder. It's a blue face shape up in your Mac's dock. Another is click downloads. This folder is on the left side of the Finder window. You can see the picture. If your browser downloads files to a different folder, example your desktop, click that folder's name instead. So another step, double click the Office setup file. Doing so will prompt it to begin running. So you can see the pictures and we are going to proceed to another step. Click continue twice. It's in the bottom right corner of the page. You will do this once on the first page of the setup and then again on the second page. Another step, you can click agree. This will indicate that you agree to Microsoft's terms of use. Another step, click continue. It's in the bottom right corner of the page. And next step, click install. This blue button is in the bottom right corner of the page. Another step, you can enter your Mac's password. Type in the password you use to log into your Mac. Another step, you can click install software. It's in the bottom right corner of the password entry window. Doing so will begin installing Microsoft Office on your computer. The installation process may take a while. So another step is to click close when prompted. Your Microsoft Office programs have now been installed on your computer. You're free to begin using this. And now we are installing Mozilla Firefox. Install from Mozilla's download server. Before installing Firefox, see the Firefox system requirements to make sure that your computer has the required operating system and recommended hardware. To install Firefox on your computer, first, visit this Firefox download page in any browser such as Microsoft Edge. Second, click the Download Now button. The Firefox installer that downloads will automatically offer you the best available version of Firefox for your computer. Another is click Open File in the Downloads notification on Microsoft Edge to start the process. In other browsers, you may need to first save the Firefox installer to your computer. Then, open the file you downloaded. Note that if you see an open file, security warning dialog, click open or run. You can see the pictures in the next slide. Another step, the user account control dialog may open to ask you to allow the Firefox installer to make changes to your computer. If this dialog appears, click yes to start the installation. Another step is wait for Firefox to finish installing. So we are now installing our Firefox. Next is when the installation is complete, Firefox will open. And note that a notification bar with a refresh Firefox button may shown at the top of the page if Firefox was previously installed. So congratulations, we are done installing Firefox. Double-click the Firefox icon that was placed on the desktop whenever you want to start Firefox. So that's all. Thank you for listening and watching.